Hi, I'm Michael Newrock, and in this lesson we're going to go over take profit and stop loss settings in the Trend Profiteer Trade Assistant. First thing, as always, is double click on the smiley face, right hand corner of the chart. If your tab is not on inputs, click inputs, and we'll just scroll down to the take profit and stop loss section, which is here. So the Trend Profiteer Trade Assistant allows you a lot of flexibility in your ability to place both take profits and stop losses. So let's just go over it. And of course, we have more information and examples in the user guide and quick reference guide of the Trend Profiteer Trade Assistant. So make sure you download that if you haven't already. First field, take profit. This is a hard target, so that's 100 pips. It's a pip value, so you can just change that to whatever you want. The default is say 100, but you could move that to 200, or you could make that smaller if you wish. But normally we have the take profits fairly large, and that's because Trend Profiteer is a trend following system, so the potential is there always for big returns. Now, split TP is the field for the take profit for the second position. If you are not trading split positions, that is two positions for the one trade, then you don't need to bother about this. You can leave it at whatever it is, and your single position will run on the take profit field. Otherwise, if you are using two positions, then this is the take profit in pips for what you want your second position to be, so you can leave it at the default or increase it to whatever you want. Now, the next field is use TP SL ratios. It's a true-false field, and basically, if you want to use these values here, then you need to change this to false, and then it will use these fields. Now it's set to true as default, and that is to use the main TP-SL ratio and split TP-SL ratio. So if it's set to true, it's going to use these values, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment and explain what they are. If it's false, then it's going to use these values for the take profit. Now, if you're just using a single position, that's one position, then you only need to concern yourself with this field, the main TP-SL ratio. If you're using two positions or split positions, then you'll use both fields. So this is a reward to risk multiplier. And basically it will work out your take profits dynamically on a trade by trade basis, based as this multiplier by the stop loss that's used. We'll get to the stop loss section and how that's formulated. But let's just say if the stop loss was 30 pips, then a 10 multiplier would place the take profit for the first position or single position if you're only trading one position to 300 pips. And it uses this multiplier to work that out. So you can leave it as default, or you can change it to a smaller or bigger value if you wish. The second position is typically bigger because that's the way the Trend Profiteer system works with split positions for the second position, always striving to stay in the trend for as long as possible. So you can leave it at the default, or again, you can change it to whatever value you wish. And it is also based on, well, it is the multiplier of whatever the stop loss is by this value. Okay, so the stop loss section. Here we have two different ways of determining what the stop loss is, just like we have two different ways of determining what the take profit is. So too we have on the stop loss. These fields here, stop loss and split SL or stop loss. So you can set these to whatever you wish. This is a pip value, so if you want to increase that to say 40 pips, you can do so. And it's traditionally appropriate to set your stop loss to the same value for both split positions, but that's covered in other lessons. But essentially, you can use the hard stop losses here, or similarly to the take profit section, you can use the next field to use the dynamically generated stop loss. So to use these values, just like in the take profit section, you need to change this to false, and it will then use these values here for your stop loss positions for either one or two positions. But if you have it set to true, then it'll it'll dynamically generate the initial stop loss based on the slow moving average. So uh, it will place the stop loss, in other words, at the value of the moving average on the signal bar. So here we've got an interesting field. If you want to give it a bit more room to move, which is typically what I do, on a buy, I'll place the stop a little bit below the slow moving average, or on a sell, I'll place it a little above the slow moving average. This is the field to do it. So stop loss pips from MA. So if you want to give it more room, then you can increase that to say 20 pips, or whatever it happens to be. You might want to give it even more room, say 35 pips. And it just obviously depends on the time frame and the pair that you're trading. But if you leave it at say 10, that'll be appropriate for the 1 hour time frames, possibly. Like, it's always good to obviously give the trade a little bit of room to move, but this way it'll place the stop loss dynamically 10 pips away from the moving average. So again, if you want to give it a bit more room to move, then place it at 15, 20, or whatever you wish. This next field, MA, initial stop minimum, this is the minimum that the stop loss is going to be. So if it dynamically generated the stop loss to be only 7 pips away to the slow moving average, and even after giving a little more room to move with another, say, 10 pips, it works out to 17 pips, then this is kind of like the override. This is the stop minimum. So in this case, it's 35. But again, you may want to change this from trade to trade, or from chart to chart, and make that, and from time frame to time frame, of course. So you may want to make this on a 4-hour time frame, say a minimum of 50 pips or higher. Whereas on a shorter time frame, particularly like a 5-minute or a 15-minute, you might want to restrict the minimum to only 20 pips. So that's quite useful as well. Next field, use counter signal SL. If you don't want to use the counter signal, then leave it as false. If you do want to use the counter signal stop loss, then set it to true. And what this does is that if your trade comes up or encounters a moving average crossover that is counter your position, so if you're buying and you've been in the trade for, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the trade for, but if you come across or encounter a moving average crossover to the downside that's countering your position, then what this is saying is that it'll tighten your stop loss to this value here, the counter signal SL. So you may have been well in profit. You come across a moving average crossover that's trading against you, and you tighten your stops to 15 pips from the um, the current market price. So this works on both positions, and uh, I've got it set as false on the default. But if you ever want to, uh, then you can use this counter signal SL to tighten stops. The other thing is that you can always get into these settings during a trade and adjust your settings. So it's setting or changing the settings on the fly. So yeah, this is a pretty cool little section here, and I apologize. I am just going to cancel these alerts. And until next time, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon.